Okay, one of those deceptively sunshiny days in the winter when it's sunny but then very cold outside. So here is my latest tiny appliance. This is a mini donut maker that I found in Target, and I thought it would be a nice opportunity to try out a Medu Vadai in it. So I soaked some whole urad dal this morning and then started adding all the flavors and aromatics that go into a Medu Vadai. This is my favorite combination. And so I thought we would try to make it in a smoothie blender versus the batter, especially in the smoothie blender versus the Indian mixie, which does a much more faster and efficient job. But you know what? I'm trying to make recipes for all of you to be able to enjoy without any complicated equipment. So the smoothie blender is the tool for today. Well, so far the batter seems to have come nicely. So right now my batter is actually chilling, because when the blender gets hot, the batter should actually be cold before you start actually frying it. Otherwise, your vadais will not taste very good. So anyway, wish me luck, and I'll have a recipe for you soon. Ciao, everybody. Okay, here is the urad dal prep. You're going to take half a cup of white urad dal whole, and you're going to wash it thoroughly 2 or 3 times with the water and drain. And then you're going to drain it completely in a strainer and add the dal back to your bowl and fill it up with double the size of water so that you can let the dal soak and increase in size. Once the dal is soaked after 4 hours, you're going to drain it completely. Take the dal and put it into your smoothie blender, all of the lovely greens, and then start with adding 1 teaspoon of diced garlic, 1 teaspoon of diced green chilies, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin seeds, and a few cracks of black pepper. Take a chopstick and mix this around. Start blending this. This is going to start looking very coarse and not sticky. Add 1 tablespoon of water, scrape the edges and return it back to the blend, and keep pulverizing it until it starts to resemble a slightly smooth mixture. Add a 2nd tablespoon of water and continue the blending process. Keep scraping the edges, shaking your jar a little bit, and then add a 3rd tablespoon of water. This will start resembling a batter now. And then now for the final step, add a 4th tablespoon. So the water is basically being added slowly so that the blending happens evenly. And then your batter is ready when everything is nice and smooth and you don't see any grainy bits of dal inside your batter. Take a spatula and empty out all this beautiful batter into a bowl. Now this blending will actually make the batter a little warm, so you're going to have to cool it down in an ice bath. Put it on a plate and surround it with ice and let it cool for about 10 minutes. That's it. And then we're going to make the vadais soon. Okay, so prepare your donut maker by basting both the edges of the plates of the donut holes with oil liberally. And then you're going to take a mini scoop. This is a mini ice cream scoop, almost like a melon baller. And you need to just take out the batter and scoop it right on top. Now, this was an experiment. So I'm going to give 2 batches. And this was my first batch, which I tried without actually scoring any holes in the middle. Closed up the waffle maker, and then I cooked this for about 2.5 minutes on one side. It was cooked. So all I did was I took my chopstick and my tongs, and then I flipped the vadai to the other side, and then I closed the plates and cooked this for another 3.5 minutes. And they turned out pretty okay, but I wasn't completely satisfied. So I said, second batch, I'm going to try something different. So what I did with the second batch is, once I put the batter into the molds, I took a chopstick and then I scored those holes where there's like a little indentation which actually tells you to make the donut holes. And I thought, okay, this might make the vadais look a little bit different. And I was pleasantly surprised. So there you go. So you just take your chopstick and score up those little holes to make them look more like vadais. Yes. And then close the plates, and you're going to bake or cook this, as the instructions say, for about 2 minutes. First, unplug every time you have to flip the vadais. Open up your plates, and then you're going to use your chopstick, and then you're going to flip, 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 and close the plates and cook for another 3.5 minutes. Now, these are the ones that came without the holes. Dipped it in chutney, it still tasted fine. But here are the ones that came with the holes that I created. And they were pretty decent, I must say. I'm not completely dissatisfied. So this recipe was inspired by the waffle maker vadai. It tastes pretty much the same, I think. Little steamed, little fried, but it's cooked on the inside. And when you dip it with chutney, it tastes pretty good. Good little snack without all that excess oil. Okay, so Cool Desi Auntie's experiment to make Medu Vadai in the donut maker was not very successful. It was just okay. But these vadais are perfect for Thayir Vadai. So you start by soaking your vadais in hot water. While your vadais are soaking, you're going to take 1 cup of plain yogurt in a bowl, and then you're going to whisk until it's nice and smooth. And then once your vadais are nice and cool, you're going to squeeze out all that excess water and take your vadais and put them in a tray in a single layer. After you finish this, we're going to make the flavors that go into the yogurt, or Thayir as we call it in Tamil. Okay, so take a small tiny little blender or a mixie, and you're going to take 1 green chili and break it into half, put it inside, and then 1 teaspoon of diced ginger and 1 tablespoon of unsweetened shredded coconut. You can use fresh coconut too. And then 30 milliliters of water, and you're going to just grind this until it's nice and smooth. Just make sure that your chilies and your green ginger is nice and small. Then take this mixture and you're going to add it directly into your yogurt. Season the yogurt with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's pretty much it. All you do is just take this yogurt and pour it all over your vadais. My vadai recipe basically made 14 vadais, so this 1 cup is perfect for all 14. Start your temperings. Take your little skillet, add 1 teaspoon of oil and heat it on medium high. Add 1/4 teaspoon of mustard seeds and then a few curry leaves, let them crackle, and then add that tempering directly on top of the yogurt vadais. Swirl it around a little bit, and then you can take a chopstick like I do and just move the vadais around so they absorb the yogurt nicely. Garnish with a little bit of cilantro, and then when you're actually going to eat it, serve your vadais in a small plate or a bowl. Add a little bit of that yogurt on top, and then serve it with karam bundi, which is basically a spicy, crunchy snack